riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides and the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now that we has passed. It's Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Why I Hate This Album. I am one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey. With me as always, co-host extraordinaire, miles to my teller, Timothy Richardson. Tim, how you doing, buddy?
Garrett, this week I am really excited.
Well, that's always a bad sign. What's got you so excited?
Well, Garrett, because as soon as we are done recording this week's Prepisode, I will be off to Maine to participate in what I and I guess a group of like-minded individuals refer to as Kinging the King. We're gonna king him.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest, Tim. You've caught me fairly flat-footed. I was expecting there to be some sort of cowboy innuendo at the end of that sentence.
This is an unrelated thing.
I see that. 2 questions. Maybe this will handle everything. Who is the king, and how do you king a king?
Well, Garrett, obviously the king is Stephen King, and you and I were both fans of the novels, novellas, short stories, musicals, etc. of Stephen King, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, his career has been going on since the mid-70s, maybe even the early 70s, and a lot of people wonder, how do his ideas stay so fresh, right? How does he stay afraid enough to come up with such terrifying situations? That's where we come in. Every October for about 10 days, we go to Maine and we just fuck with him.
Nice.
One of us will dress as a Pennywise, for example, and pull a child crisis actor in a yellow raincoat into the sewer just right in front of him. We use those self-parking cars to convince him that cars are sentient once. One of us ended up sacrificing themselves in some sort of Gerald's Game situation. That was an unfortunate one. We dressed as ants outside of his window one year and fed humans to Mother in her claw made of human faces.
Oh, God.
Remember that one?
Yeah.
We staged a meet cute between Stephen and Michael Jackson that resulted in 1996 short film. It's a musical. It's called Michael Jackson's Ghosts. It's a real thing.
Oh, God. Had a man sent to a prison for several years for a crime he may or may not have committed before escaping through a river of feces and finding a treasure.
No, of course not, Garrett. He can't witness that in 10 days. Come on. Don't be silly.
You're right. I'm ridiculous. Now, Tim, I am curious. Is it only things that he has already written about, or are you the inspiration for these tales?
I apologize. We're doing these things ahead of time. We're just scaring him, and some of them his imagination just really gravitates to and he writes books about. But, you know,
it seems like there might be some lawsuits to stem from this.
Oh, why?
Well, okay, let's just imagine for a moment that you were the inspiration for Pennywise the Clown. You dressed up as a maniacal clown and pulled young Georgie into that storm drain. Wouldn't you feel like that's your intellectual property when he then goes and turns it into a multi-million-dollar book deal, which then gets turned into, I would guess, a 10-figure licensing deal for movies?
Oh, not at all, Garrett. We do it for the love of the art. We're just really big Stephen King fans.
Just real King heads.
The whole thing is very fun. It's relaxing. And the best part is that dumb son of a bitch has not caught on even a little bit yet. It's great.
That was my last question. Yeah. Does Stephen King know what's happening?
No.
And has he sought the attention of the authorities?
No. Honestly, a lot of it is an attempt to get him to stop writing those godforsaken Dark Tower books and focusing on things we don't hate actively. But
boy, so there's probably like a no cowboy rule.
Well, it just doesn't really come up because cowboys are the obvious heroes in any tale, and so they're not scary. We try to give him scary things, you know.
Sure. Right. Well, in the interest of time, let me first say thank you. Kinging the King. Fascinating. Terrible name. Wanted to let you know that's a terrible name. You guys should work on that.
Listen, we're very creative in the things we do. We don't have time for branding. We're not out there advertising this.
Right. Except for what you've just done now.
No, you asked me how I was doing.
Well, I feel like you could have given me a very simple fine, but that's fine. No, you're off Kinging the King. That's great. No, you know what? No, thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. Good luck. Don't get arrested. You're lucky it's Maine. Tim, you can't be doing these things in Texas. You can't just go around scaring people. You end up shot in the face.
Well, that's true.
You know, it's important, Tim, when you do scare Mr. King, he is getting a bit older. Don't go too far. And make sure you keep it interesting. Sometimes they can get a little, one note.
Well, if it helps at all, we've also been terrifying Joe Hill and Owen King recently, so getting that next generation going.
Happy haunting. All right. So, Tim, that brings us to the matter at hand. What song have we been listening to for an entire week straight as you have been preparing your various costumes and accoutrement to scare scare Mr. Stephen King.
We have been listening to the 1989 Prince single Batdance. This was suggested very recently by Nathan, who wanted, I think, the full soundtrack, but fuck you, Nathan. And
fuck you, Nathan.
Also recently by Luther Hermanson, who suggested Prince as like a Minnesota band after we couldn't name any bands from Minnesota, maybe?
Right. And now, Tim, after an entire week of listening to Batdance, I am so curious. Do you hate this song?
Here's the thing. Almost
Off
certainly,
to a shaky start.
Almost certainly. I'm going to say no, but I'm probably going to get there this week. I don't think you will, but I challenge you. Divorce the song from Batman 89. Divorce the song from the music video, because the question is not, do you hate this week's experience? It's, do you hate this song? If you just, imagine none of that happens. It's just the song. You hear this on the radio. Do you hate this song? You have no context for anything about this. This is a song that you've heard for the first time in 2021. Garrett, do you hate Prince's Batdance?
Really walled me in here. This feels unfair.
You can give two at the end. I'll allow two answers. I will allow. Do you hate the Batdance experience, and do you hate the song Batdance? But we'll save that for the end.
Let's begin where I think we ought to begin. Of course, I don't. This is a masterpiece.
It's not. It's so
Fuck you. Fuck you, Tim. This is a masterpiece, and I will prove it.
I don't.
I probably won't. I probably will not. But I don't care. That's fair. It's great. It's so great. It's so great, Tim. It's great. Everybody get excited. I should say, we never say this. Even though we're going to be talking about a singular song with almost no lyrics, it's very important this week, of all weeks, during our Halloween Spooktacular Scarextravaganza trademark, that you go watch this music video.
Absolutely.
Go watch it. You gotta go put it in your faces, and you're welcome. I know it's 6 minutes. What's about to happen? You don't know, and that's the gift.
Yes.
Go soak it up.
It is, because something amazing happens when you watch the music video. Revolution 9 turns into an actual song that kind of makes sense.
A little bit.
It's impressive.
But this is better.
Okay. All right.
All right, Tim. That's whether or not we hate it. You seem like you're headed that way. I can't even fathom hating it. It's probably Prince's second best song.
No.
First best? I'll give you fourth best. Just behind Raspberry Beret.
Raspberry Beret is a good song. This is not a song.
Sure is, though. Prior to this week, Tim, what is your experience with the Batdance and Mr. Prince?
I've probably heard this before. I've seen Batman a number of times.
I'm questioning that now.
I like to love quite a bit of Prince's weird version of music. Batdance, I've tried to avoid pretty much at all costs because I just don't care. This is one of those things that I missed as a child, and coming back to it is a very weird experience. And I don't know
how to deal with it.
Yeah, it's why is this?
Well, we have a younger audience base this week, so I'll be very curious. I think it's going to be super tough for people to put this, like, cognitively frame this in society if you weren't there to witness.
Yeah, and here's the thing: if you weren't, or even if you were, just feel free to hate it based on listening to it. That's fine.
Or love it twice as much.
Yeah. What about you, Gary? Do you have any history with the Batdance?
Of course, Tim. It was on the radio nonstop when it came out. And I was 6. So first of all, no control over that dial. Second.
So this is like a Garrett's dad, Fred's staple. You're riding
Fred
in the
staple,
car.
brother and sister staple. Everybody's listening to Batdance, Tim.
Were they doing
Everybody.
the Batdance?
No, I was all over that backseat, but much to everyone's chagrin. Now,
seems like they would have just changed it, but I guess Fred had rules against that.
Correct. Here's the weird part. Up until this week, I had a nagging confusion that lasted my entire life up to just a mere 8 days ago. When I was a child, it befuddled me that there were 2 Batman-related hit songs on the radio. There were not. What there were stations that could not play a 6-minute song of nonsense, but it instead would choose the first or second half of the song and just play that because they are very much their own song.
Yes.
But I was 6, so I was just like, how did there just suddenly, like, one that's, they're very similar. So happy this week to put that to bed, finally understand what was happening. Definitely had seen the music video a number of times as a child, watching MTV. It was on quite a bit. And then I have since watched it more than a couple of times as an adult out of just mere fascination. And then this week, Tim, I watched this music video 38 times.
It's too many.
So that's my history. That's your history. Before we can talk a little bit about the song and most importantly, the music video, we need to understand a little bit about the man who made it. So Tim, my God, I don't know how you're going to do this. Take us on a journey. Help us understand who is Prince and how did Batdance come to be?
Well, Gart, Prince was born Prince Rogers Nelson in Minneapolis, Minnesota, USA in the year of our Lord 1958. Yes, Prince is his real name, so there will be no need for wacky nicknames this week.
Out of respect.
His family was from Louisiana, and his dad was a songwriter/pianist. His mom was a jazz singer. They were also members of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, and incidentally, his father used the name Prince Rogers as a stage name and passed it on to his son for some reason, but Prince himself was not a huge fan of the name, so he had people call him, for most of his childhood, and this is true, Garrett, Skipper.
Really?
Yes. So Skipper had epilepsy as a child, and then one day he stopped having seizures randomly, and he told his mom that an angel told him he wouldn't be sick anymore. Cool. As a child, Skipper wrote the song at the age of 7 called Funk Machine, which seems like an odd title for a 7-year-old child to write, but whatever. And then his parents got divorced when he was 10. His mom remarried, and he got a half-brother named Omar that he really did not get along with. It resulted in Skipper switching back and forth between his mom and his dad's house. I could not figure out exactly what happened there without digging into something possibly very unpleasant, so I just kind of ignored it. And then his dad kicked him out, and he lived in his neighbor's basement. In high school, Skipper was on the football, basketball, and baseball teams despite being a very slight 5'3", and was also trained in classical ballet at the Minnesota Dance Theater. In 1975, his cousin-in-law, Pepe Willie, formed the band 94 East and had Skipper co-write a couple of songs and play guitar. And then in 1976, he produced his own demo and was signed by what seemed to be some random Minneapolisian, Owen Husney, to a management contract and got a record contract with Warner Brothers Records and Cartoon Company to make 3 albums, which they basically gave him complete control on, although they would, of course, own the masters. Now, Skipper moved to California and released his first album, For You, in 78. He played 27 instruments on all the songs in the album. He wrote, produced, and arranged everything with the exception of the song Soft and Wet that had a lyrical co-writer credit, likely because Skipper was a good Seventh-day Adventist boy. And some of those songs included up to 46 layers of vocals. So he basically made a not very well received at the time Pet Sounds as his first record, which is ridiculous, right? I mean, he's clearly, at this point, he's a musical genius. People, haven't caught on necessarily, but what he's doing is shocking. It's weird.
Yeah, nobody else is doing that, and he's just kind of like tinkering alone.
Yeah, this is how it happens in my head, so this is how I'm doing it. So obviously he couldn't play all those instruments simultaneously live, so he hired a band that included Dr. Fink on keyboards and Bobby Z on drums. I think that's a different person than Robert Zombie, but I cannot be sure.
I am certain it is not.
All right. There were some other guys in the band too, but the record suits thought he needed more songs to play live, so he made his first platinum-selling album, Prince, in 1979, and then he made Dirty Mind in 1980 and was the opening act that same year for Rick James. In 1981, he released the album Controversy, then he was an opening act for the Rolling Stones, although in LA he was forced from the stage after 3 songs when the audience threw trash at him, possibly because of his outfit choice of a trench coat and black briefs underneath, but who knows?
He's amazing.
A weirdo.
He should have just picked up a fucking guitar and just started playing it at them until they shut the fuck up.
Yes, he's done that trick a number of times in the past. Maybe this is the instant that inspired that. Also in 1981, he started the band The Time as a side project fronted by Morris Day, although Skipper allegedly did most of the work in the background. Yeah. In 1982, he released 1999, which is a good album. Little Red Corvette joined Billie Jean as one of the first first 2 videos to be frequently played on MTV, and there was a lot of consternation there. MTV didn't want to play what they called quote-unquote black music, and the record company kind of stood behind him and threatened to pull a bunch of other songs from their rotation if they didn't play this as well. So
nice.
This gets played. He starts calling his band The Revolution in the early 80s and started using them more in the studio, so other people are more playing on the records now. Skipper asks his management to get him a movie deal, and Purple Rain was made as both a film and an album. The album sold more than 13 million copies in the US alone.
Now, Tim, have you ever seen Purple Rain?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I was curious.
It's weird.
It's so weird. The music's great.
Oh, yeah. It spent 24 weeks at number 1 on the Billboard 200. It won him an Academy Award. That same year, Andy Warhol became weirdly obsessed with Skipper and painted a bunch of pictures of him, a practice that everyone thinks is cool when it's Mr. Warhol, but less cool when it's me.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of reasons. You take liberties.
That's true, but so did he, man. They were monochromatic and they're like those soup cans, bunch of pictures of the same thing.
Yours are all pantsless.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, Garrett. I paint what matters. I paint my truth.
Fair enough.
Then noted cunt Tipper Gore started the Parents Music Resource Center after she caught her daughter listening to Darling Nikki, and that's why all those dumb parental advisory stickers are on albums to this very day. That whole PMRC saga would be a good solo cast, just saying.
Mm-hmm.
In 85, the year of my birth and the year of Garrett's bat mitzvah, Skipper released the album...
For so many reasons. For so many reasons,
in universe continuity. Skipper released the album Around the World in a Day, then pulled a Beatles and announced he wasn't going to be making music videos or do live shows anymore, both of which are a lie. In 1986, he made a movie Under the Cherry Moon and a soundtrack album Parade. People like the soundtrack. The film, however, won Skipper a Golden Raspberry for Worst Director, Worst Actor, Worst Original Song, and then he tied for Worst Picture with Why I Hate This Album Boys in the Lab favorite, Howard the Duck.
Love Howard the Duck. Yeah, that movie is incomprehensible.
I've never seen this.
It's kind of the only way to put it.
Fair. Then Skipper toured for a while before basically disbanding the Revolution and kind of just restarting the same band with mostly different members. He made the still unreleased Dream Factory and then the still unreleased Camille as a solo album. He then shelved the triple album Crystal Ball after the suits at Warner Brothers wanted him to cut it down and instead released Sign of the Times in 1987 instead, and I think that's basically just a cut down version of Crystal Ball. And then he toured overseas a bunch. Skipper recorded the Black Album, 500,000 copies were made, and then he had a quote-unquote spiritual epiphany that the album was evil and had all the copies recalled.
Great.
But in case it hasn't become clear by this point, he's kind of a goddamn lunatic. Like, his libido and his love of weird nonsense spirituality are kind of running neck and neck here.
Yeah, it's very confusing. He was raised, and I don't know anything about Seventh-day Adventists. I wish I did.
Oh, they have the Great Disappointment, I think.
Please elaborate, because that was my father's nickname for me.
That's
and
true.
By nickname, I mean just what he called me exclusively. But go ahead.
Nickname. Well, so I believe one of their guys, their preachers, their founder perhaps, picked a day that the world was going to end, and they all sold all their possessions or something. This is just me spitballing here. Details may not be accurate, but they all sold all their possessions and went up on a hill, and then, obviously nothing happened. They're all very embarrassed, but they all still stuck to the religion. Yeah, the Great Disappointment is what they call it.
Seventh-day Adventists. Right in. The fuck is your religion?
I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. In 1988, he released Love Sexy, and then did an 84-show tour. In 89, Skipper wrote, sang on, and played guitar on Madonna's Like a Prayer album. And then he put 2 projects on hold to do the soundtrack for Batman and the song of the week, Batdance.
It's probably as far as we need to go.
Nope. From there, Skipper continues to release music at an astonishing pace. He tours pretty much constantly, etc. The film and soundtrack album Graffiti Bride were released in 1990. That year, Sinead O'Connor released a cover of Skipper's song Nothing Compares to You, which went on to sell 3.5 million copies worldwide. In 2021, Miss O'Connor would describe working with quote-unquote devil Prince as hellish, saying he invited her to come over, and there's some pretty serious boating implications inside of his creepy house. He screamed at her a bunch. He screamed at his butler/brother Dwayne for not giving her soup that she didn't want. He made her pillow fight him, which she agreed to only to, and I'm quoting here, change the dynamic. But he had had put something, quote unquote, designed to hurt in said pillow, and she eventually escaped through the woods, and then he chased her around in his car, allegedly.
Okay, there's a lot in there, and I'm not going to go beat by beat. I want to focus on maybe one thing you said, and then we can move on. But it just makes me...
pillow fight?
It is. It's pillow fight. Because, listen, I'm not a Sinead O'Connor apologist by any means. However, it sounds like she really was in a nightmare situation, almost like a Saw-like situation. So basically, you're trapped in Prince's house, and after probably some untold number of obstacles, the wrong word, trials, there's the right word, he challenges you to a pillow fight. I want to have a pillow fight.
I mean, I'm saying yes. I'm into this.
Okay, we can do that. That seems all right. I don't see how that could go wrong. All right, take your pillow. I have a secret about my pillow. It's full of a roll of nickels.
But he's
Prince
so little.
He's so little and so fierce, so quick, and so skilled with a pillow full of nickels.
You're selling it back to me again. I get it.
Man, I got to tell you, experiencing it, it's like watching somebody slip on ice. Experiencing it's a real nightmare and could end with a serious injury. As a third-party observer of a fully decked out in what I'm going to call a pajama tuxedo, like satin, matching, multi-piece, not three-piece, maybe five-piece pajama suit.
Oh, yeah. There's a top hat involved.
Yeah. Hair immaculate as it appears just beyond the brim. Maybe even a cigarette holder with like a Twizzler in it. That's confusing.
I think you're describing some sort of Prince Penguin situation.
I'm describing a mercurial gentleman with a secret, and that secret is that he has put brass knuckles in his pillow.
Oh.
Surprise.
Okay. It might have been a brick, too.
I bet you can't guess what's in this pillow. It's a brick. I can see it clearly. It's a white pillowcase.
Yeah, he's still going to hit you with that brick. Anyway, in 1991, he started a new band, The New Power Generation, and released Diamonds and Pearls in 91. In 92, Skipper and the crew released an unpronounceable symbol of an album as sort of a fuck you to Warner Brothers, and not because he was spiraling deeper into insanity and religion. He would take that unpronounceable symbol as his name and start making public appearances with slave written on his forehead, kind of to the same ends. The Black Album was released, then Come was released in 1994, then The Gold Experience in 95, Chaos and Disorder in 96, and then he was free of Warner Brothers. He released an exactly 180-minute triple album, Emancipation, in 96, and, he continues to release albums.
I'm ashamed to say, Tim, I kind of check out from new Prince music around here.
Oh, you're not wrong to. Yeah, in 2000, he started using the name Prince again and released 1 to 2 albums per year, still through about 2016. We'll get there. And he became a Jehovah's Witness following a 2-year debate with bassist Larry Graham, who became his mentor and close friend at this time. He said...
Debate?
He said he did not consider it a conversation, but a realization. He compared it to Morpheus and Neo in The Matrix. And then he was a Jehovah's Witness to the point he was knocking on people's doors to discuss his faith. Like, somebody knocks on your door and Prince is there. Like, is it the pillow thing? No, it's Jehovah's Witnessing.
Wow. I want to talk to you about the revolution. No, Jesus Christ.
Yes. And I would recommend listening to Kevin Smith's An Evening with Kevin Smith story about this.
Oh, yeah.
It's great. It will explain just how weird and crazy he was better than anyone you'll ever hear.
It's definitive.
Yes. Skipper played a genuinely good halftime show in Super Bowl Xylee. I don't know how it's pronounced.
I fucking hate you.
In 2007 with 140 million viewers, which is shocking.
Good Lord.
He continued to release albums with a weird trend of ever more frequent misspellings and using numbers instead of letters in the album titles. In 2014, he was re-signed with Warner Brothers after 18 years and did a deluxe edition of Purple Rain and finally got ownership of all his masters from Warner Brothers. So he kind of wins.
Yeah, kind of.
Then in 2016, his tour was cut short by some vague illness. He rescheduled a bunch of shows. And then while flying to Minneapolis, he became unresponsive and he was hospitalized after an emergency landing in Illinois and given naloxone, which is an opiate receptor blocker designed essentially to reverse an opiate overdose. For the record, makes every little thing just hurt like the dickens. When he woke up, he left the hospital against medical advice and went for a nice bike ride, a real Garrett's dad move. His representatives said he had the flu and was dehydrated. And And then about a week later, his people had addiction and pain medicine specialists come take a gander at him. They were supposed to show up on April 22nd. And unfortunately, the day before that could happen, he was found dead at his house. The EMTs have some really weirdly conflicting stories about when he died, like what the exact timeline here is. The medical examiner eventually ruled his death an accidental fentanyl overdose at the age of 57. And Skipper allegedly took counterfeit pills. They were supposed to look like hydrocodone, but were in fact fentanyl, again, allegedly. And Skipper left no will, so over 700 people, including yours truly, claimed to be half-siblings or bastard children. So the state of Minnesota basically had to drill open his vault and get some DNA out of there. None of those 700 people were ever recognized as relatives by the court. His ashes were then put into a 3D printed urn shaped like his Paisley Park estate, and he has subsequently released 3 or 4 albums, including one this year.
Weird. I mean, you and I know for a fact he has probably enough material to release an album every year for the next 15 or so years.
Yes. Also a Kevin Smith documentary.
Oh, yeah. Boy, I'd love to get my eyes on that.
Yeah.
Great history, Tim. Sad ending. Of course, one of my biggest musical regrets is that I didn't get to see Prince live. You didn't either, right?
Nope.
I've heard it was awesome and mildly exhausting.
Yeah. I've seen fairly long concerts or amounts of concert footage with him that just, he's so good, and it's Hendrixy, but it's not. The difference is it's all very like choreographed and controlled.
Yeah, it's super tight.
But it's weird. It's got the same level of like theatricality to it.
It's like a James Brown approach to playing music, not just singing. Like it all seems like chaos, but you better believe that band knows exactly what he's going to do next. Anywho, if, while we're on the topic, Tim, since we're about to get into the real meat of things here in just a moment, if you're not familiar with Prince, just, first of all, I don't know how that's possible, but, he hasn't been like a big thing in a long time. So just go Google Prince. I mean, there's so many great videos on YouTube of that dude just being awesome.
Yeah, and weird. So very weird. He's
super weird.
He is as weird as he is good.
Yeah. A couple of my favorites, him playing with, he's on stage with like Tom Petty and maybe that vaccine denying weirdo. What's his face? I can't think of anyone's name right now.
Eric Clapton?
There it is. And just plays them off the stage. And
yeah.
then there's another one where James Brown actually makes him come down out of the audience and begins playing on stage.
There's a lot of him playing at people as if to shame them. And it's pretty great.
One of them just ends where he just hurls a guitar and you don't really see where it goes.
That's a great video. It sort of disappears into the sky.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into it, Tim. Before we talk about a single thing, let's give everyone a taste. But again, please just go watch the music video. You're welcome for so many reasons, but let's do it. So good.
The music video is pretty good. I'll give you that. The song is not good. It's not a good song. This is not a song. It's not a song at all.
It is a song.
It's not. Nope.
It's a song.
Nope. Garrett, try to divorce the song from the visuals.
I have. No visuals.
It's 2 unrelated songs. It's put together. It's like a day in the life, but instead of being interwoven, they're just played on top of each other with no excuse or reason why. And then there's just a bunch of samples of movie dialogue over it. Why?
Okay. All right. Here's the thing. Maybe we can agree. Let me try to build a bridge of understanding. I will agree that if you've never seen the movie Batman starring Michael Keaton, this is not a song.
Okay. That's what we're pretending, though. We're pretending. We're closing our eyes and we're just listening to the song.
Hold on. I have seen and celebrate to a level that is potentially unhealthy 1989's Batman starring Michael Keaton.
We all do. We're all hard for that movie. Here's the thing. You have to ignore it. You have to put it on your mind. No, Garrett, you pretend to be a Supreme Court justice. Now, you know as well as I do, they completely ignore any sort of political leanings, any sort of personal feelings. Okay. They just go with the case and with the Constitution. That's what I'm asking you to do today. I'm asking you to be like our Supreme Court, simply address this song as a song. Again, you get 2 ratings here. I will give you this. You get to rate the song.
I understand. But I view the film as precedent.
That's fine. You can.
So I can't ignore it. I'm a justice. I gotta obey precedent.
No, because again, this is do you hate the song?
Yes.
But the song is face.
I don't understand why I have to divorce the song from the movie. I've seen the movie, so I can enjoy the song. If I've never seen the movie, I understand what you're saying. saying. You're saying objectively,
Objectively,
your argument is that everyone should be able to enjoy a song without having to have seen a film.
Yes, if you have to, right? It's like to say you have to have seen a movie and possibly a music video to enjoy a song means, by definition almost, that the song is not in and of itself good, right? The movie Southland Tales, it's like part 7 of a story, and there's like a bunch of comic book tie-ins that you have to read. Don't do it. It's fucking terrible. It's a bad idea.
I don't think anybody's lining up to watch Southland Tales.
No, and that's what I'm saying. This is the Southland Tales. This is the Revolution 9 of music. It's...
I think dubious examples. Okay, let's do this. I'm not here today to sell anybody on Batdance. It does that itself. I am not here to say it's a good song. You are definitely here to say it's a bad song, and that's fine. You can say that. I understand your argument. I don't agree necessarily. I don't necessarily think I'm right. However, this is do I hate this song?
Yes.
And I do not hate this song. I don't have to hate it for it being awesome. I don't have to hate it for it being just filled to the brim with movie quotes and not having any lyrics whatsoever.
These are things that should make you hate it.
No, it makes me love it so much more. Tim,
Keep busting.
did you know that Batdance was a last-minute replacement for a brooding track titled Dance with the Devil?
Did Prince feel it was too dark, incidentally?
Yeah. Too dark. So let's talk a little bit about the music. The song is 6 minutes long, and it begins, the first half of it is this weird dance beat, then halfway through changes into this very sexy, funky groove before it goes back to the dance beat for like the last 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But, Tim, to my mind, I like the whole story, end to end.
Again, if we're watching the video, I do too.
Did you know, it feels a little disjointed, right?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. There's like 7 different tracks in here.
Well, it's funny you say that because this is technically from at least 7 different songs, some released, some unreleased, that Prince smashed together to make Batdance. So it actually is at least 7 different songs.
Plus dialogue samples from the movie.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's all dialogue samples. I'm just talking about the music right now. I guess he does say a few things in the song, and we'll get there. By the way, before we talk about the lyrics, we don't address this nearly as much as we used to, but for this episode, I must comment. Now, those of you who have found the feed, find the feed. The viewers, if you will. And we don't know. Are you viewers? Prove it. hatePodMail@gmail.com. Are you a viewer? Yes or no? Tim, at first when you came in today, I said, what a great Batman costume. I love it. But I didn't get that far. I said, what a great Batman. And the hem is because you appear to be wearing, well, I'm just going to go out and say it, a combination of a Catwoman and a Batman costume. Now, let me be clear for the listeners who have not yet found the feed. Let me put it another way. Maybe I didn't do it justice. Are you wearing a Batwoman costume? What's happening?
I call it Cat Batman, but it is designed for a woman, yes.
That is clear. It hugs you in all the wrong places, and I don't prove it, not asking you to prove it, but it seems like that particular codpiece might be removable, detachable. That's unusual.
Yeah, well, there's several different size options. I went modest. You're welcome.
That could have been smaller, is what you're saying.
It could have been much bigger. I got a whole range.
Okay. I mean, to be fair, I'd prefer bigger. More coverage is always good.
Oh, well, you know what? I'm confused as to what you want, I guess.
I want you clothed in my presence is what I want. However, that can happen best.
If it helps, I painted your dog Batman to look like a pretty great Joker.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He's rolling around on your couch bed. It's a mess.
Before we move on, I'll just say it. You look great. It's terrible and confusing and might be ruining the very character of Batman for me permanently, but well done. Okay, let's talk about some lyrics, so to speak. We open with a sample, and we're just going to say, well, I guess we're going to have to call it out. We open with a sample. It's, of course, the Joker, aka Jack Napier. He says, oh, I've got a live one here. From the scene in the film we all know very well where he shakes Ratelli's hand with the joy buzzer and then cooks him from the inside. Right. But this is all, of course, before Prince joins in and says, get the funk up, and we get a slightly more traditional 1966 Batman response. He says, get the funk up several more times with the response of Batman. Then the song continues, and again, we must point out, it is a very dancey beat for a Batman theme, and aside from get the funk up, we've mostly just got samples coming up.
Do you think the 3rd and 4th Batman movies in this sort of series, the Val Kilmer and the George Clooney Batmans, Batman and Robin and Batman Forever, of course, do you think that those took more from the Tim Burton movies or more from this music video as far as their aesthetic?
I think it's a terrible amalgamation. Now, who took more? That's a great question. question, Tim. Is that what's on those cards?
No. These are talking points for...
Finish the sentence, please.
These are some talking points for you for later, and also some diagrams of things in Maine. I want to do it right. No.
I'm going to cancel our one-on-one today. I think it's going to be a real slog. Anyway, that we don't need to bother the listeners. I'm sorry I asked. Who contributes more to the aesthetic of the Joel Schumacher era?
Yes.
Well, Tim, I mean, honestly, I know exactly the answer. You know the answer. Our listeners know the answer. It's this music video. Right down to the neon. Right down to the Vicky Vale of it all. Short skirts, tight leather. It's begging for a Robin, a Chris O'Donnell to enter the picture.
Oh, God. You know what? That was a good choice. There's a lot of poor decisions made in Joel Schumacher's Batman movies, but getting a Robin, bringing him in there, great choice. Mm-hmm. Getting Chris O'Donnell, Garrett.
Yeah.
Great choice.
I disagree.
Great choice.
Here's why. Traditionally, the reason that the Robin
let me actually, before you say why you don't, let me say why I do. I like it because he's approximately as big and as old as Batman. He's not a boy at all. It's not weird, Garrett. He's adopted a man and he's brought a man into his house. So it's not weird. It's not a man who has adopted a boy for the purposes of violence. Right. It is a man who has adopted another man for the purposes of violence.
Well, you don't know why, because throughout that entire first half of the movie, he protests the very idea of there being a Robin. So allegedly, he adopted that man for some other reason.
I think it was because he was sad about his parents. Anyway, so why do you not think that this is a good Robin?
The exact same reason you think he is.
You want him to be a small boy.
I understand why that's weird. It's problematic, and that is the right word in this case, as much as I hate to say it. You're not wrong, but the solution is not Chris O'Donnell.
I would argue the solution to most things is Chris O'Donnell.
Yeah. That's what your shirt says.
Yeah. Now, imagine this. You're doing a podcast, this same podcast, with Chris O'Donnell.
It's better.
Podcast. Yeah.
It's better. Yeah. No worries. Because if it gets boring, I'll just start talking to him about that CSI he was on for a while.
I've talked to him about Batman and how he was such a tall Robin, how it broke the mold, changed what Robin could be. He could be a full man, Garrett.
An adult grown man adopted by an adult grown man.
Yeah.
The song continues, go, go, go with a smile. This is, of course, when the Joker gasses everyone at the parade. Sadly, also when he shoots Bob the Goon, a.k.a. Tracy Walter. Tim, I love Bob the Goon.
You love everything about this movie, and I salute you.
Yeah, folks, have you noticed there's no interpretation this week? It's impossible. We're going to get to the real interesting stuff in a minute. But the song continues. This is where it all started. This is where I was rekindled my love for Prince's Batdance when we got an email that ended with "Keep Bustin'" from the line. After the Batdance, the Batdance, you get Prince to weigh in again. He says, "Do it.
Keep busting."
And that's where the keep busting. I will say
love the keep. I mean, Tim, since the day we got that email, you and I have finished most of our private conversations with
keep busting. Sometimes we start our conversations like that. Sometimes we say that instead of good night or I love you. Was that where you were going?
It is not.
Tell the audience all those things.
We're gonna
keep busting, later. Buddy. Keep busting.
Sometimes it means fuck you.
Oh, sure.
Keep busting.
Yeah. Sometimes, though, it means all those other things. Garrett, keep busting.
Keep busting.
Garrett, I see you. Keep busting.
Tim, keep busting.
Keep busting, buddy.
Just keep busting.
I can't stop busting.
Keep busting.
The song continues, I've seen the future and it will be, and then Batman. Now, Tim, I'm curious. Has Prince seen the future and he believes that we will in fact live in a society in which somebody goes so far, so crazy, as to dress up like the Batman and fight crime?
No, I think he's talking about the movie franchises that will come.
Right. I got thinking about this. Thinking about a world in which somebody were to go so far.
Oh, I fully support you do this. Go on.
That's not what I'm saying. That's a different thing. And please stay out of the front hall closet. I think that the moment somebody does that and anybody catches wind of it, 30 people do that.
Oh, sure. I mean, there was that guy in maybe Portland or Seattle that was sort of doing it, but the problem was he wasn't doing it. He was doing it as sort of a bit. He didn't really commit. Now, here's what you do. You dress kind of like Batman, but the difference is you have a katana and you go out there and somebody's robbing a bank and you just slice them in half and disappear. I mean, you're standing on a building above watching. watching. But then no one else knows that because it's dark out and you're dressed dark and you get that sword still up there, so no one's going to come up there even if you were. The point is, if somebody sees a bat, a giant man-sized bat drop from the sky and slice a man in twain and then just vanish.
Word's going to get around.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's new Batman in town. Now, Tim, I'm going to say, if you're going to go so far as to wield a katana, which again, I got to say, love the introduction of a katana into the Batman dynamic, well, we might as well just go full bore.
Oh, shotgun Batman?
No, that's too fun and messy. You just sit about, good 400 meters away. You're already high up. Sniper Batman.
Oh, you want to do it like those guys in DC?
No. I mean, technically, yes, but no. I was going to go like a way more fun, sort of. I guess we're talking about Tim, you have cast quite a power.
Well, I'm just saying, you don't know what that man and his boy, God, they are quite
I don't know how they were
like
dressed.
Us, okay? We don't know what they were dressed as, and we also don't know, I mean, were they random shots? We don't know.
Yeah, was he firing at a Oswald Cobblepot in the background?
Yeah.
Probably not. We really shouldn't make fun of these poor people. The innocent people died. But what I was suggesting, again, you know what, you're right. I do know. I read all about the DC sniper. It's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
I know exactly what they were aiming at.
But that's not funny.
You've made it too real.
To our listeners, we're not suggesting you become some sort of sniper vigilante. We are suggesting the katana thing if you have the skills to pull it off.
We are not. Neither.
Legally, we are not. But for those of you who have found the feed, I am winking my eyes out.
The song continues. We get another quote from the Joker himself. He says, and where is the Batman? Then we hear a huge guitar solo, which is fucking great.
Yeah, the guitar in this is pretty good. I'll give him that.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It just is disconnected from every other part of the song. Almost as if it's, not the same thing.
Then the song continues. Do it, let's do it, do it. And that's where the song completely breaks down, transitions into that funky, sexy groove, and you hear Stop the Press. Who is that? Vicky Vale. I like. And then you hear Batman 3 times in a row. Boy, Tim, you were really right about something. It is difficult to convey this song in this format. I'm just going to keep moving quickly.
There's some talking about busting bodies later. We could talk about that.
Oh, yeah, you're right. The point is that the whole first half of the song is about Batman and the Joker fighting. The second half is about Batman and the Joker wanting to fuck Vicky Vale.
Yes.
And you hear, ooh yeah, I want to bust that body. Followed by, I want to bust that body right. And, fair enough, is Vicky Vale. But it is weird that Vicky becomes sort of the weird proxy war for Batman and the Joker, sort of their Afghanistan, if you will. Can we jump to the Ducky line?
Oh, absolutely. That's where I was going.
Lot of debate. I read way too many message forums about, is it Ducky? Is it Duck-E? Is it not Ducky at all? Is it Bucky? Or
I think you've wasted quite a bit of your time. Let's just say, hey, Ducky.
Yeah. And he says, hey, Ducky, let me stick the 7-inch in the computer.
It's not. Okay, that is a much better reading of the laughter than we get in this song.
Yeah, probably. But is it a joke? I don't understand. Who's Ducky? What's happening?
Well, I don't know who Ducky is, but the 7-inch obviously is. Do you remember those 7-inch discs?
Yeah, the big floppies.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he was using that to make music.
No, Garrett. It's a penis reference. You see.
I see. His 7-inch floppy.
Yes.
A lot of people think it's Doug E. Fresh instead of Ducky.
No,
Spent a lot of time in the forums.
Do not care.
Then the song really stops making any sense because Prince just starts saying, hey, we got the power. Oh, we got the soul. Hey, we got the show enough. Get off to make the devil go. Okay. Followed quickly with This Town Needs an Enema. So this song's a little all over the place.
Yes.
I don't hate it, Tim, but you are making a great argument for the fact that this is not a great song.
I will say there's very good musicianship in this. No question whatsoever.
Yeah, the music's great.
But again, if you're just listening to this, just the audio, it feels like somebody's fucking around with a sampler maybe for the first time and just putting things together that absolutely do not go together.
Yeah, that's fair.
They're a big fan of guitar solos. They're a big fan of dance beats. They're a big fan of Batman 89. And they just sort of combine them in a way that a professional musician should not.
I agree. All right. The song wraps up with several more Batmans, a few duets, Don't Stop Dancing, Let's Do It, Don't Stop Dancing. Then we get, Tim, to the music video.
Yes.
And this thing thing is incredible. I've taken detailed notes.
That's true. Before we get into it, though, I just would like to say the official music video, would you like to guess how many views it has?
4 million.
Wow, you're much closer. 8 million. This has been viewed 8 million times, but Garrett, that is 0.7% of the views that Four Non-Blondes What's Up got. That's weird. This is a better video. This is objectively at least a more interesting video.
Sure. Endlessly interesting.
Yes.
Let's get into it.
Yes, because this starts off very spooky. I can definitely see, based on the video, why you wanted this for Halloween.
Right. Up until this moment, this is not qualified for the Spooktacular, but the music video sells it. We begin, and the whole thing, in fact, is set in a Batcave.
Sure. And it's, you've got some good neon, some good lighting, some good smoke. Skipper is...
He's in some sort of like musical station?
Yes.
Like a control center for music.
In my mind, it looks kind of like the cartoon Batcave, the Batman the Animated Series, like his computer console, but with instruments instead of like crime fighting tools. Is that fair?
Yes. No, you're doing an excellent job describing the scene, but that's not where we begin, Tim.
No, that's fair.
We begin with the character known as Gemini. Which, why? Why did Prince have to make a new character for a Batman music video? It's only character, sir.
I feel like Prince might be haunting the Batcave in some sort of, again, Phantom of the Opera type thing. And Batman, he's like a rodent that Batman can't quite get out of there, no matter how hard he tries. Yeah, well,
might be a Ratatouille thing.
Yeah.
Why he had to name it is beyond me, and why he chose Gemini will never be known. But it's a character dressed half as Batman, half as the Joker, all flair in the world.
Sure. He's doing a Two-Face, but Joker and Batman combo.
Right, but also for like theater, not like for threatening.
Right. Well, I mean, it's Prince. He's...
Sure.
Unless
the man doesn't know how to...
Prince is maybe the least threatening person on the planet unless he's got a pillowcase in his hand.
My pillowcase wants to tell you a secret. No, Prince.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the video, we get a transmission, is the best way I can put it, from Gemini on his video phone that has a bat symbol screensaver. I know, folks. I'm not having a stroke. Try to keep up. There's a camera or a picture like again, Tim, the console for Batman the Animated Series with the giant screen up front is perfect with some sort of computer business in front. It shows a bat symbol and then I'm going to call it a transmission from Gemini comes in on the video screen to let Prince know that the battle will soon begin. And that's when Prince and several women, possibly some men, but mostly women dressed as Batman appear crouched on the ground and some actually hanging upside down like bats.
Yes.
Have I left anything out so far?
No, I think you're doing a good job.
Okay, and folks, keep in mind, this is not the Batman you seek. These are, well, Tim Batmans currently. They are hip-hugging, they are lightweight material, they are neither they're threatening. I am threatened by you currently, to be clear. Yes. I find you threatening in this outfit.
You should, you're right to.
Why are parts of them removed? Why are parts of the...
Don't ask.
Why is
it's best not to, let's just go with it.
It seems like you bought a crotchless women's Batman costume, okay? Don't answer. It just seems that way. You're covering. I appreciate that. Like, I'm sorry. I said I wouldn't ask. I'm sorry.
Carry on.
That is when Tim, a group of dancing jokers, enter the Batcave and begin to challenge the Batman women to a dance fight while Gemini announces, "Get the funk up."
Yes.
The jokers look amazing. Again, also majority of, if not entirely, very attractive dancing women, right?
Yeah. It's a good music video.
Yeah, it's a great music video so far. I'm excited. I'm confused. I'm aroused. There's Batman women. It's great. Mm-hmm. It's almost enough to make you love the song, but I don't want to pressure anybody. So Prince is the Phantom of the Batcave, exactly as Tim said, playing a series of keyboards with a guitar slung around him for later awesomeness that we'll get to. But Prince, as Gemini, leads both groups in a synchronized dance before he announces, "Keep bustin'," after he appears to hump the air and have what I can only describe, and after dark, is a magnificent air orgasm.
Yes. Air orgasm. Right.
Yeah. Magnificent is the key word, though. Right. I was both impressed by and jealous of his technique.
Orgasm. Yes.
There it is. Your words, not mine. The Batman women pair off with respective lady jokers and begin to erotically fight dance while Prince, again, as Gemini, cheers and jeers from the sidelines, not exactly clear who he is rooting for as he is dressed as both people.
Right. Yes. It's a very confusing. The duality here, I don't know, man. Doesn't fucking matter.
It doesn't matter. It's insanity. It's a bunch of theater kids going nuts. We cut back to Prince proper so that he can sing at the camera a little bit, and he scratches there's a laser disc, like it's a record that he's DJing. I don't know if you picked up on that. It was completely chrome.
Oh, yeah.
And what was really odd, maybe the most interesting thing I learned this week is I thought laser discs like started around 89, 90. No. They started in the early 80s. So that was definitely a thing, but what he's doing with it was not. Laserdisc enthusiasts, write in hatePodMail@gmail.com. When did you get your Laserdisc player? Do you still have it? And is anyone impressed that you do? All right, we cut back to the music video and we get our first of many quick cuts to a gyrating Batwoman on the ground. Very arousing. Prince gives us a very hip-centric guitar solo that we mentioned in the song Breakdown as the Batwomen begin to get the upper hand on the Jokers and Gemini becomes very frustrated. Just as you think that the battle is about to end and the song itself will come to a conclusion, that is when we make the transition. After the keep bustin', after the guitar solo, after the fight, the army of Vicky Vales in black miniskirts come out of nowhere. One is wearing an All This and Brains 2 t-shirt, which is a reference to The Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller. And at this point, just as Prince in the song, Gemini in the music video is no longer focused on Batman, as only Prince can, but as Gemini, crawls under the legs of the Vicky Vale army to inspect them and at the same time declare, I want to bust that body.
Yeah, it's arousing.
It's pretty hot.
Yeah, okay, we're on the same page. All right, cool.
Yeah, for once. Maybe ever. Maybe never again, Tim, but for once. Shit's hot. Right. Anyway, one of the Vicky Vales has a Batman tattoo on her thigh and a Joker on her back. I don't think they were real, but God, I hope they were.
Ooh, yeah. We should make one of the interns get a tattoo.
We can't make them, to be clear.
We
can't
should
make them do anything.
Them to.
There it is. That's the right legal language. Back to the video. This is where things kind of start to break down a little bit. In the second half, as we focus more on the Vickies, the Jokers, trying to lure them into a sexual web of violence and eroticism, begin to point guns at the women, only to fire them just above their heads. And Gemini begins to fixate on an electric chair that appeared from nowhere. Has not been featured in the music video at all up to this moment. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, electric chair. This is where we get the quick cut to Prince where he says, hey, Ducky, let's stick the 7-inch in the computer. Still confusing me. Suddenly, there's a shotgun sitting on that electric chair, and I'm super lost. Any idea why?
No, I think to spice things up.
Fair enough. Gemini picks up the shotgun teary-eyed, almost as though if he's wondering what to do with it and contemplating his own existence, should he end this madness? Instead, he shoots the shotgun at Prince and declares, don't stop dancing, you son of a bitch. The Jokers and the Batman suddenly turn against Gemini for no apparent reason other than they shot at Prince, and everybody likes Prince, and it looks like he's going to be fried in the electric chair, but instead, he presses a big shiny red button and it blows up. I have no idea why there's an explosive wire to the electric chair. I have no idea why they made a giant shiny red button. It's unclear. It is like a bad SNL sketch with a great premise. Really great idea, starts on fire, bring in the Vicky Vale army, I'm rock hard, and then the whole thing just kind of falls apart.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything, Tim?
God, no. That was
fantastic.
Exhaustive.
I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I feel like I was watching it right now. Okay, then I gotta ask, how did this thing do, Tim?
Pretty well. This was a #1 single in Canada, #1 in Europe as a whole, New Zealand, Norway, the US, the Schweizer hit parade. It also hit #4 in the Finnish Suomen Virallinen lista, #2 on the Italian Musica e Disci, #5 on the Swedish Sverigetopplistan, and #4 inside of the Dutch. It is certified platinum in the US, so it has sold at least 1 million copies here alone. The Batman soundtrack sold 4.3 million copies, but that means that 1 million people either decided they needed 2 versions of this song or decided that they liked the song but not the whole soundtrack. It's very odd. More importantly, this is Scott Aukerman's favorite song, but that guy's been known to make some jokes, so who really knows? That is the danger of allowing yourself to become a clown. And Prince as a whole has sold more than 150 million records worldwide, so he's doing pretty okay too.
Jesus. All right, that's how it did, but what did people think of it, Tim?
Well, there are somehow only 56 total ratings on Amazon, 4.7 out of 5 stars on average, 85% 5-star, 3% 1-star. Garrett, don't worry, I have got some YouTube comments to supplement the numbers.
Great.
Kale Cockane titled his review from 2016, Prince's Batdance equals a plus for this soundtrack. One of the best songs on the soundtrack. It also mixes lines from the movie with the awesome music from Prince. If you are not sure or have not seen the movie, listen to the sample. I believe you will be highly satisfied with this hit. 5 out of 5 stars.
It only features, it's only the lyrics from the movie.
Yes.
I mean, I guess he added keep busting. And we're forever thankful to him for that.
Right. In 2016, Little One, titled His or Her Review, Jesus Christ, it is Prince at his finest, which he always is. This is one of my favorite songs, musically intricate, with kooky lyrics. 5 out of 5 stars.
They have no idea that movie exists.
Dr. Hyde, titled His Review from 2020, just as bad as the movie. I don't know. Howard Stern raves about this, but it's nothing but cringeworthy. This was produced around the time that Prince was known to have fallen in love with the smell of his own flatulence, so I'm not surprised that its quality is right up there with the film itself. Heinous. 1 out of 5 stars.
That guy sucks. Don't listen to him about anything.
From YouTube, Nicoletta13, 4 months ago. For us, it was dancers dressed up as bats and deranged clowns on a dungeon set with a fog machine and an electric chair and hot blondes in short black dresses. For Prince, it was Tuesday. It's accurate.
Sounds like she might have been interesting if she performed on the music video.
Oh, I think she's just missed watching it.
I know, but if anybody knows, we don't ask this enough, Tim. hatePodMail@gmail.com. If you know anybody involved in this bizarre existence, reach out. We want to understand, how did this get made? We will talk to you here on the show. If you don't want to talk to us on the show, we'll talk to you off the show. We'd love to pull some choice quotes right in.
Terrence Hackmat said, "Love this frame. Since then I discovered girls even more. Girls are difficult unless you're an eccentric type for men. Sometimes a shame. LHBTI culture could make a revolution." Navy 4181 8 months ago said, "It's incredible. How the hell do songwriters come up with music like this? Is the process sitting down and one day suddenly hearing music in your head and you stop everything you're doing and rush to a studio? This is why I have the utmost respect for Prince." It is that, right? Like the thing he said?
It's from a movie. And 7 other songs he smashed together. It's literally from other stuff.
Danny Canfield said they should revisit this when they bring back Keaton for the Flashpoint movie. Sure, Prince could fit in there somewhere. That's a guy.
Oh, no.
That's a guy who has a really tragic thing to learn.
Oh, man.
Poor Danny. That was from 2 weeks ago, so he's probably, I'm sure someone's told him by now.
Listeners, write in. Did you learn that Prince passed away on this show? Ugh, God. Great reviews, Tim. Who's this for?
Garrett Harvey.
That's right. Final thoughts. You did make some decent points as to why somebody may not enjoy it as much as I do. But what have we not said about it?
The video is lots of fun. I really enjoyed the video. It's pretty amazing because when you watch the video, a bunch of nonsense kind of just snaps into focus. And because you're seeing people dance to this, the beats make sense where they are. Some of the samples make sense. The music video adds infinitely to this experience. The song itself, less artistic legitimacy than Do the Bartman.
Wow. I am holding back the urge to strike you. I'll let you in on a secret, Tim. There is a version of this episode. There are 4 pages of my notes I did not read. I meticulously mapped the film Batman to the song Batdance. It fits. It fits.
I'm
like
not saying it doesn't.
glove.
I'm just saying, as a song, garbage.
All right. Well, I needn't ask it, but I am curious. Tim, we've been all the way through it. Do you hate this song?
I think maybe the song, Garrett. I think I do. Here's the thing. Do I hate the song and video? No, I kind of like it.
Okay, let me ask this. If the song comes on agnostic from the video, are you going to skip it?
Oh, absolutely. Jesus Christ. I do not like this song. Garrett, I fear I know the answer. What about you? Do you hate this song?
Of course not. This is a masterpiece. I'm turning it up if it comes on.
I will smash your radio.
I am hiding my phone. Don't smash my radio. My radio is your radio.
God damn it.
All right.
Garrett, I smashed the radio. I'm so sorry.
That brings us to listener mail, Tim. Do you want to go first or would you like me to?
Why don't you go first this week?
All right. My listener mail is from Hillary. Hillary's email is titled Prepisode Material. Hillary writes, Dear Tim the Sucker and Garrett the Sucker adjacent. My brother, sister, and I have been cringing hard to Steven Seagal in all his pompous, bloated forms for some time. We collectively agreed that his truly awful music eclipses even his worst movies. I cannot in good conscience recommend that anyone listen to the entire 2004 album Songs from the Crystal Cave. Maybe that's where Brad thread wound up, she says in parentheses. However, I can tell you confidently that strut is Prepisode material incarnate. Interesting. Seagal teams up with Jamaican dancehall veteran Lady Saw, who frankly ought to have known better, for a truly gross and remedial tune that showcases the word punani no less than 5 times. I'm sorry, that caught me off guard. I was not expecting it to go there, folks. I only read the first sentence so that you get my honest reaction. And punani was not on the map. For a truly gross and remedial tune that showcases the word punani no less than 5 times and features Seagal slurring in a pseudo-Jamaican patois, which can only be described as borderline auditory blackface. Oh, Hillary, you're funny. Happy listening, folks. Love Hillary. Hashtag Team Flemscatting.
You know what? We might get a little flemscatting next week.
Oh, possibly. God, you're right. Don't spoil it yet, but you're right. Absolutely. We almost certainly will.
You know what? You've been practicing. That was
a little
good.
In the shower.
That was good.
All right. Tim, what email do you have for us this week?
I have an email from Ray. Now, Ray starts his email, Dear Gold Cobra and Jimothy. I feel like
good start. Really good start.
Hi, just finished you boys' 4 Non-Blondes episode and was grateful to hear you have not forgotten your rabid fan base in the Great White North. I've been a listener, and then that's crossed out with viewer. That's right. The CBC has found the feed since your first rodeo with Toby Daddy, but unfortunately, I haven't had internet for the past couple of years due to the goddamn beavers chewing up the cords. As I mentioned earlier, I can confirm that due to this perennial beaver issue, the CBC broadcasts/screens your podcast depending on beaver activity in the region. There have been times where I have attempted to recite your pod aloud like a town crier in these offline situations with full cowboy accoutrement, but usually any Albertan in the vicinity usually puts a stop to this violently. And then in parentheses, they claim to have full rights to cowboyism in Canada. Was not aware of that.
That can't be right.
Jim, are the cowboys in Alberta a subsect of your Texas flavor or a rogue division? To me, it sounds like, frankly, a bunch of
enthusiasts.
Enthusiasts/valor theft. I don't know.
Ooh, well, there's no valor for cowboys.
There's plenty of valor. There's almost nothing but valor.
Just found the t-shirt. There's no valor for cowboys. Hashtag no valor for cowboys. No valor for C-boys.
I don't like this.
NVCB.
I don't like this at all. Anywho.
NVFCB.
God damn it. Anywho.
God.
Your show rocks and I cannot wait to hear, and that's scratched out, see what you guys come up with next. Gold Cobra, keep them solo casts on occasion. Really love the Tones Van Zandt eps. Perhaps on occasion, Tim could do a solo cast where he regales us with legends of the Old West. No, sorry. P.S. Shortly after I got into your pod, I started dating this girl, and while probably one of the most progressive people I know, had this long-time enjoyment of Toady Daddy's music and was unaware of the lynching, and then that's crossed out, extrajudicial advocacy in his songwriting. Naturally, we sat down and listened to your ep on Unleashed, and while it forever destroyed her ability to like Toby Daddy, it only strengthened our relationship. Perhaps the boys in the lab should do a report on the correlation between listening to your pod and relationships. Now, I can comment on that. A lot of people have been writing in to tell us that they do in fact listen to this show while making love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sorry I asked that question. No, wrong way, Timmy. Well, you know what? Far be it for me to cage that singing bird. If you would like to continue, Tim said it. Tim would like to continue to receive word. If you enjoy listening to the podcast while you're inside another person, let us know. You know what? That's being too exclusive, Tim. However, it is you define making love. If you are
not if it's masturbation.
No, that's pretty weird. Don't tell us if you're masturbating to this. Jesus Christ, man. I was pretty uneasy on these waters beforehand, but you just walked right up, threw an oar straight into the ocean and said, now what? You got one. I am uncomfortable.
Then there's a PPS with some album suggestions, and he says, all right, that is all. Hope to hear from you soon, and I hope to get back to you before the winter comes and polar bears begin to roam the land, violently destroying all in their path. Sincerely, Ray.
Yeah, a lot in there. First of all, we should point out, handwritten, as all letters we get from Canada are. Does not appear to have email. Ray mentioned that the internet seems to have been out for the last couple of years, and if anybody's curious, we put forward the question, how is Canada listening to the show? Because we knew they were. Maybe they'd found the feed feed. Find the feed. We were curious. Now, Ray has informed us that the CBC seems to be performing or just rebroadcasting the show. I'm not sure if I caught that.
I think he has performed the show on occasion as a town crier. However, the CBC is rebroadcasting the show.
I really hope that they are planning to wet that beak a little bit, because I'm sure they're running ads. Anyway, fantastic email, Tim. And can I circle back around for just a moment? Obviously, we are neck deep, dare I say, in the Halloween Scaretacular, so we can't entertain it now, though I'm sure it will be scary. Let us not forget that we got an excellent recommendation for some sort of Punani-centric Steven Seagal song.
Oh, yeah. And we'll get to that.
What is that?
We'll find out.
It's no jazz loon, I'll tell you that. No jazz loon. All right. Fantastic email, Tim. Ray, thanks for writing in. Hillary, all the best. That brings us to Music News of the Weird.
Music News of the Weird.
Would you like to go first, Tim, or would you like me to?
Well, I would like to go first, Garrett.
Of course, you selfish little boy.
In a not great look this week news, I don't know, Eric Clapton, the Clapman, if you will, is doubling down on his COVID-19 skepticism. This one is for you, Edgar Sheeran, who likes to write in on YouTube about this. Quote-unquote pro-medical choice or COVID-19 vaccine skeptical music collective Jam for Freedom likes to play around Britain in public areas with lyrics like, "You can stick your poison vaccine up your arse." It's very clever stuff, and I believe the police have in fact been hassling them. Not totally sure if the harassment is entirely valid. They have different free speech laws there. Anyway, they got into an accident and totaled their car or van or whatever they were hauling equipment around in and had to start a GoFundMe, which Clapton enthusiastically donated to and then texted them to assure them that they are doing great work, the Lord's work even, and donated a van and some more money, which is really nice of him if he wasn't funding the spread of misinformation. So,
I'm not here to espouse any science. I'm not trying to convince anybody to do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care.
No. At a recent show in Austin, Texas, the Clapman also posed for pictures with our illustrious governor, Greg Abbott, signer of the abortion vigilante plan thing. So I feel like the Clapman is just embracing being an asshole for the sake of being an asshole.
It does seem to be a thing people like to do these days. And to be clear, Tim, I was mid wind up. Just you hit me on a full stop. I was winding up.
You're pro these guys. I got you.
Nope, definitely
good guys on both sides. I got you.
Nope, let me get out the first half. You son of a bitch. All I was gonna say. I don't even remember now.
You don't care if people get vaccinated. I got you.
Nope, that's
what you said.
Fuck you. It's not what I was gonna say.
I do. The Tim portion of this show does in fact care if you get vaccinated. You should get vaccinated.
What I was gonna say is that my entire life I went to public school and I had to get vaccines, and nobody gave two shits. Like nobody said jack shit. Why now?
Crisis actor? I don't know.
I don't know. Like, are we bringing back smallpox?
Oh, we will. Don't worry. It's in a lab in Atlanta.
Okay. We can't dwell on it.
Anyway, that is my first story of the day. Garrett, do you have a first story to bestow upon us?
Well, it really wouldn't be considered the first story. It's the
second story. Do you have your first story?
Don't say it that
you know
way.
what? Fine. Do you have a second story, you son of a bitch? You're ruining...
Don't even ask, do I? Of course I do. You know I do. It's called Music News of the Weird. That's the name of the segment. What if I said no?
This is a terrible segue.
Yes, it is. That's what I'm supposed to say. Anyway, Tim, did you know that Rolling Stone magazine has republished the 500 greatest songs of all time?
I do.
So it originally came out in December of 2014, and then again in September of this year.
2004, I think, is the original.
Okay, possibly 2004 then? I'll assume it was. The 500 greatest songs of all time has been re-released, this time taking into account, shockingly it wasn't previously, taking into account hip-hop, modern country, indie rock, reggae, R&B, and Latin pop genres. However, detractors still consider the list an example of cultural supremacy because except for a few Spanish language songs, all entries are in English and from the Western culture, to which I would say Rolling Stone is not a global publication. I mean, it is in that it's on the internet, but by and large, they're catering to people that want to know the songs they're talking about.
Yes.
Fair? Well, that's fairly old news, right? But the boys in the lab, and by boys, I do mean OIZ, it's a genderless term, the boys in the lab did some digging on who moved where. And Tim, I pulled a few of the more interesting ones, not all of them. They did the full 500 comparison. I'm not going to sit here and rattle off 500, but I did get a few that I thought were shocking, either for where they were or where they ended up. Be fun for you to decide which one you think it was. First one, My Generation by The Who was at 11, now at 232.
Whoa, bad few years for The Who.
London Calling by The Clash was at 15, now at 143. I was shocked it was at 15. Good song, not the 15th best song ever.
Sure. 115 or whatever seems accurate. No, maybe that's even a little high.
143.
If I scrolled through my phone right now, I could think of probably 144 songs that I like better than it, but whatever. It's a good song.
It is. Purple Haze by Jimi Hendrix was at 17, now 250.
Whoa.
I disagree with that.
Yeah, that's a good song.
It should definitely be above London Calling.
Yeah, that's true. But I guess it wasn't in either iteration.
It wasn't in... that's true. Yeah. That's true. Next up, Maybelline by Chuck Berry. 18 originally, now 101.
So who's moving up to take all these spots?
All those other genres. I mean, presumably a lot of hip-hop and rap.
Modern country, I assume, is taking up
that's infuriating.
It's a lot of Toby Keith songs in that top 10.
Let It Be was at 20, now 121. That seems rough.
Yeah. Well, so it's just interesting because I assume that it's a completely different group of writers or voters or whoever's making this list, because it seems insane that a song would go from 15 to 140 something or, 17 to 200 something in a decade or 15 years or whatever.
So now we get to some really interesting ones. Sympathy for the Devil by the Rolling Stones was at 32, now 106. I think it's better than 106.
Probably.
Couple more. You've Lost That Love and Feeling by the Righteous Brothers went from 34 to off the list.
I want to hear of somebody that went from like 480 to number 7.
Yeah, I don't have any that way. Oh. But the most insulting I have left for last. One by U2 was at 36, only reduced to 62. That's not even the best U2 song. But
it's a good U2 song.
Sure. But how is that the one that moved the least?
I don't know.
Buddy Holly's That'll Be the Day is now at 124. Fuck you, U2. What else you got, Tim? Actually, hold on. One more. Just one more. This will get your blood boiling. Georgia on My Mind, Ray Charles, was at 44. Now at 283. That's insane.
It just makes me sad.
That's a top 50 song, Tim. That song is amazing.
Absolutely.
All right. What else you got?
Well, Garrett, in Dwayne the Rapper Johnson news, we have all heard D-Daddy sing. Our house is filled with the music of 2016's Moana anytime we're not listening to a weekly song or album. But thus far, we have never...
Wait, is that what that is? I've never seen that movie. Is that what that is?
He sings a song on the soundtrack, yeah.
Well, yeah, there's definitely been like island-themed music playing very loudly in our house for the last several months. That was Moana. Okay.
Anyway, we have never heard D-Daddy rap before. And to be clear, he did in fact ask me to call him D-Daddy in the pre-show interview after he heard about how fun Big Daddy Pop sounded from the Spin Doctors episode, and apparently he's getting a little tired of The Rock.
So Dwayne is a listener of the show. He heard the other episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Fascinating. Okay.
Well, he's going to be in a new song by Tech-9, or is currently, called Face Off, a song presumably about 1997's Face Off. We haven't done it on the show, so I can't say for sure. That includes a rap verse both written and performed by D-Daddy. So,
ooh, is that as bad as I think it is?
It's pretty fun. It's not great.
Hold on. Fun like an Outkast song, or fun like O.J. Simpson on Twitter? That's pretty fun.
Definitely not the second thing.
But closer to that than the
I don't
first.
know. I don't know that he's ever committed a series of murders.
I just mean, is it very uncomfortable?
I'm uncomfortable now, certainly, yes.
Hey there, Twitter world.
I feel like you just wanted to do that again. Garrett, do you have a fourth story for us?
I do. Tim recently Smash Mouth performed a fairly volatile live show in upstate New York over this past weekend, during which Steve Harwell slurred his words, threatened the audience, and didn't sing for long portions, often Americans staring off into the middle distance. All of this took place, of course, in Bethel, New York, at a beer festival known as the Big Sip. Did you hear about the incident at the Big Sip? Possibly their great disappointment.
I did not.
Well, in excerpts from multiple videos that appeared online immediately after the show, you can see the band struggling to perform over a feedback-pierced PA system, while Harwell, age 54, is seen dropping a drink, swaying wildly on stage, punctuating his slurred singing and speech with difficult-to-discern comments, some of which were, quote, "I'll fucking kill your whole family, I swear to God," end quote. He also then proclaimed, quote, "If I could suck my own dick, I'd never leave the house," end quote. There was also an alleged Nazi salute, though I didn't see that, Tim, so I can't comment on that. Harwell, prior to the incident, had been on hiatus from the band earlier this month due to an unannounced heart problem and was replaced by a friend of the band whom they never identified. It is very confusing.
Okay, who do you think
I posted
it
the video
was?
to our stories on Instagram. Oh, who do I think the replacement was?
Yes.
Guy Fieri.
Okay, just making
Of course
sure.
it was Guy
Just
Fieri.
making sure.
Oh, man. So we wish Mr. Harwell all the best in the world. Hope he gets better soon, but if you haven't seen it, give it a Google. Tim, what other news stories do you have for our listeners today?
None.
Fantastic. Yeah, you know what? That feels like enough. We went through all those bands. I've got other stories, but it's about R. Kelly and him profiting off of his
Okay,
abuse. So let's just go ahead and jump to my favorite part of the episode, where we announce what album we're going to be talking about next week, and it is a doozy. Tim, lay it on us.
Next time on the program, we will be discussing the new metal-infused music from and inspired by the motion picture End of Days, released November 2nd, 1999. We will, of course, be doing our annual crossover episode with the good folks over at Texas Podcast Massacre, who will be primarily discussing the film while we primarily discuss the soundtrack, although I'm sure there will be some crossover.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about that movie. I don't remember it at all, and to be fair, I thought it was the one with the cloning, The Sixth Day. That's what I thought. That's what I thought we were
This
doing.
one, I think he battles Satan.
No, that rings true. Pretty sure he battles Satan.
Yes, but here's
Great.
the thing, Garrett, we get our first taste of Bobby Z's brother, Power Man 5000, this week.
It is long overdue. I love our annual crossover spectacular with the Texas Podcast Massacre. It gives us an opportunity to really spread our wings and experience various artists without having to dive into their entire history. And that's nice for both of us. Timmy, I'm looking forward to it. Any predictions, thoughts? Do you remember anything about this movie?
Nothing. Just that I think Arnold Schwarzenegger goes mano a mano with Satan himself.
Beelzebub. Great stuff, Tim. I'm looking forward to it. Going to be quite a week. Proud of you for squeezing it in between your trip to Maine to King the King. That brings us to the end of the show, folks, where we ask repeatedly, but importantly, if you can, open that Apple Podcast app. Give us the 5 stars. And if that's all you got time for, you're done. Thanks. Appreciate it. That's all we needed. If you got a little more time, though, write a review. A weird one, ideally. Get inside, insulting, strange. Tell Tim cowboys aren't real. Dolphins run the banks, and that sharks are coming to steal his mattress. I don't know. Get weird with it. If you got a little more time in your hands, the second thing we ask you to do is write in. You can go to hatepod.com, and there's a contact us in the upper left-hand corner. It does ask for an email, but that's just so we can reply. We don't mark it at you or do anything weird with it. We just say, hey, thanks for writing in. Here's the response. You can also just email us directly if you're not into all that. hatePodMail@gmail.com, and please write in. We're getting lonely. We will respond. It does take a little bit of time because we are just a 3-man operation. One of those men is a septuagenarian fascist, and 43 of them have been lost on a non-specific boat trip towards the Dutch. Anyway, we will respond. You can also find us on Instagram at HatePod. We're on Twitter at AlbumHatePod. You can find me, Garrett, on Twitter at GHarveyTweets. We have a Facebook account, but we lost the login and we just don't care, so we stopped trying. Let's see, where else can they find us, Tim? We've got subreddits, we've got a Discord server. We don't know how to join it, but if you ask me online, I will retweet it, and I'm sure one of the people that joined it can help you out. What did I leave out, Timmy?
Nothing.
Great. For Why I Hate This Album, I have been one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey.
I have been and will continue to be the other, Timothy Richardson, and on August 23rd, 2017, Garrett Harvey said, "There are no clowns at a sexy circus."
Keep bustin'.
Keep bustin', friend.
There's cowboys running through my dreams. Nothing's quite the way it seems. I joined the Navy got kicked out in a week. My facial features aren't distinct. Try to find some meaning in these songs. The genius is a genius, got it wrong. No, it's a lobster murder sex thing. It's the bleaching of the rear. A full assault on both your ears. The riffs are too repetitive. The lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides. The cover art's a mess. Listen to it for a week. Now that week has passed. It's the Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.